Hi guys, and welcome to another show of Let's Talk About Ice tonight. We have shaken things up a bit. We've gone on the black couch, on the black wall, because it's a black story. And guys, we are so blessed to have this amazing presenter and person on our show tonight, and I'm so looking forward to her sharing her story, because I know it's going to change a lot of lives, and I know that it's going to impact some people out there, and it's by understanding the stories of addiction that we're able to make better choices for ourselves. And for others out there listening, you need to know and be aware of this drug, ice. Before I start and introduce our guests, guys, I just want to do a big shout out to Gardener Cars. And say thank you so much for the amazing support that you guys have given your community and Australian Anti-Ice campaign. So out of their fundraising in June, end of financial year sale, they have donated $3,000 towards AARC, and that covers 300 kids in their community to be educated against the dangers of ice. And we're really stoked that for their heart, we're really blessed by that, because we're able to get in front of another 300 kids and warn them about the dangers of this drug and other drugs. So if you are somebody in the community that you have a business or you are in a position to help as well, please get in touch with us, and we'll be able to help educate more kids, more youth, and protect them. We're looking at protecting the next generation. This could be your niece, your nephew, your grandchild, your son, your daughter, your parent. It could be anybody. So please help us put the freeze on ice in our nation, and it starts at home. It starts with you, and it starts with one child. It costs us $10 per child to get the education across. Apart from the education, we do lived experience support, both for families and for people in addiction looking to create a pathway into recovery. So, if you'd like us to continue our good work in the various states that we work in, we can't do it without your support. So we encourage you to join the army and help us put the freeze on ice. Sign a petition that's up there to government saying that we need funding for this. And you can help by making a small monthly donation, a contribution, and every $10 helps us get in front of another youth, yeah? So it's up to you. Don't pass it on to somebody else. Look in the mirror. It starts with us. That's where change begins. So thank you so much to Gardener Cars, 300 kids educated. We're stoked. And we have Mercer and Cooper also come on board with helping support also education in their community. And they are contracted with us for a year. And every house that they sell and every property that they sell, they're going to be donating an amount towards educating kids in their community. So if you're watching and you have the opportunity to do that, please get in touch with us. We'd love to work with you. But tonight on the show, we have Mimi, and welcome Mimi on the show.
Hi.
Thank you so much for agreeing to share your story, because it is by sharing that we can get the message that's in our hearts out there. We can't stop what we've been through. We can't change that. We can only take what we've been through and use it for good. And, it's never easy. I know that it's never easy to share and go through the journey again and remember, and it comes with feelings as well, guys. It's very emotional, to go in there and share that journey again. But thank you for doing that. Yeah, really appreciate it. So we're really blessed to have you as part of our team, and you've been up to Cairns and educated some kids in schools up there. How was that for you?
Oh, it was an amazing experience. Absolutely loved it. It was heartwarming, just going up there and speaking to all the kids, and yeah, absolutely loved it.
Awesome. Loving it is one thing, but I think it's a little bit more than that for us as presenters. How did it make you feel inside to be able to share something to those kids that possibly nobody else can? I think it's life-changing.
Yeah.
I know the first time I walked into a classroom and I spoke to, it was 180 kids, and I saw that they really knew nothing.
Yeah.
And they were able to ask questions, asking questions to you that they wanted to know about things, that they, real questions that, possibly a lot of people can't answer. What did it feel like? How did you stop? What did things, was it ice really look like that? Is it true that, you know, they hear stories, is it true about this or true about that, and they're able to share
Yeah.
on a more personal level.
Yeah, and I'm definitely glad going up there and, you know, having that experience to talk to them about that. You know, it changes the mind of those kids
Yeah.
because, you know, someone going in there that hasn't had the experience and can tell them those stories, and they're not really going to listen or really be interested. But I think we've lived it and we've been there, and to tell them our personal journey and stories, like, really makes a difference. And
Yeah.
just the kids coming up to us after privately asking us certain things about their family members and stuff, yeah, it was something that I would definitely remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably say the same thing, but, you know, I wish that I had had that information given to me before I said yes to that first pipe.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so
100%.
it's invaluable. What you've given those kids is invaluable. You guys, you know, we've had feedback from the schools up there saying, you know, it's the best education they've seen in 13 years, and from a teacher that had been a teacher for 13 years. So it's incredibly impactful. If you're a school or associated with a school, or you have your kids in high school, get in touch with your school. Tell them we want real education in here. We want to protect our kids against the dangers of this drug. It's out there. It's on the street. It's being offered to everybody, even as young as 8 up in Cairns, and we want to protect them. So get in touch with your school. You know, hit them up. Say, you know, we need to have this in our school. Get our kids educated from real lived experience. Yeah. I want to go a little bit into your story. We're blessed that you're now here with us and being able to go into the prisons, schools, youth justice, and you know, other organisations. But I want to hear a little bit about your journey. You know, looking at you, you don't look like what people would say. Oh yeah, junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, for people at home to understand how that happens and how that would happen to somebody like yourself.
Yeah.
When did you first start using drugs, and ice specifically? Like,
So I would have been 15.
Mhm.
I come from a really good home. My poppy was a Royal Flying Doctor,
Yeah.
and he had a surgery in Logan. And I went to a private all-girls school, so I come from a very good background.
Yep.
But I was raped when I was 14, which my mum thought she was doing the right thing by going to get me help, and we went to psychiatrists, and obviously they put me on medication.
Yep.
And I realised that if I overused that medication,
Mhm.
I would zonk out for 12 hours and wouldn't have to think about the world.
Yep.
And then I started giving it to my friends, and they would give me weed in return.
Yep.
And so I started smoking weed, and then obviously going to dealers' house, they don't just sell weed. So yeah, I was introduced to ice, and it went from there.
Wow, you're a perfect example. You know, people often sometimes say to us, "Oh no, our kids would never touch that," or the kids in our school know, you know, this is a private school and they don't go there. You're a perfect example of what a lie that is.
Yeah.
Because ice does not discriminate. You know, drugs does not discriminate. It can tackle whether you are well educated, from a low socioeconomic community, whether you've had the opportunities in life or not. Ice can still confront you and drag you down into the pits of hell. And nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody deserves that. That entrapment and that hell. And like yourself, if we'd have known where we were going, and we had a taste of that through somebody else sharing what they thought they were going to have a good time, they thought they were going to enjoy it. But if we'd seen the outcome and where it was taking us, and what we were going to be left with, we wouldn't have gone down that journey. And that's what we're trying to give to your kids. So so there you go. You have somebody that's been well educated from a good community, good family, and very quickly you went into Ice World. At what age were you when you started using ice?
15.
About 15.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. See, and people go, oh no, they won't. Year 12s maybe we'll try and educate our year 12s, but it's much younger than that
Yeah,
today.
definitely. Yeah.
So then you started using ice, and what happened, Mimi? Like, what was your thought process behind that? Like, did you know that you were doing something that, one, is illegal, to it's against your parents' upbringing, really. What were you thinking?
Like, I knew that it was illegal, but to be honest, it was numbing. It was wanting to feel that numbness, and I was pretty much instantly hooked.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the numb feeling, that's really what I wanted, and I knew that I could get that from that drug.
Yep. Yep. Did you think about the consequences?
No.
Very quickly, ice doesn't allow you to think. Very, very quickly, it hijacks the frontal lobe. And I say this on most shows just in case people miss it. It hijacks the frontal lobe where your logic, rational decisions take place, where your processing takes place. And the person using it is operating from their midbrain, which is the animal brain, which means, like an animal, you'll do whatever it takes to get it because you need the next hit. And you're not giving much processing and rationale into the consequences of that. Tell me what happened after that, Mimi. How did your life start to roll out?
So obviously with Ice World comes crime, or, people do different things to get drugs. I hung with a lot of criminals. I was in stolen cars. I was doing crime. I was selling drugs. My mum's house was raided, I think, 15 times in 1 year.
Wow.
It didn't lead down a good path at all. So, yeah.
Were you still living at home at that time?
Yeah.
Did your parents know you were using?
My mum did years later, yeah. But it got to the point that I was so violent as an ice addict that my mum would sleep with a knife under her pillow.
Wow.
Because she didn't know who I was going to come home with, what crowd I was hanging with, what I was capable of doing. So, yeah, I lost a lot of my family from ice.
So did your mum kick you out after that, or did she put you out? What happened?
No, Mum never kicked me out, and she never enabled me by giving me money, but I guess she enabled me without knowing by giving me that safe place to come home and sleep and come down, and for me to just get back in my car and go once I've had a sleep, and
go again for the next round.
Yeah.
I want to continue that in a second, but your mum, even at the risk of her life, she's sleeping with a knife under her bed. She still provided a space for you.
Yeah.
At that time, could you see what your mum was going through?
No.
I want to go there, guys, so you can see. People go, oh, look, it's logic. Can't they see what they're doing? They actually can't, because they can't process. Somebody using ice like that can't process. You can't put logic, rational decisions. You can't see things for what it is. You're just fixated on the next hit and whatever's going on in front of you at that time. So I just want to point that out, because you wouldn't do that today if you'd known what your mum's going through, and I can see, it's an emotional thing for you to know that your mum was going through that. There are parents out there watching, and they have their loved one, their child at home. If you could go back and tell your mum, would you tell her to kick you out?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody that's been there, guys. When we say to our families, look, don't enable them. Love you. Don't love what you're doing. You can't do that in here. And when you're ready for change, I'm ready to help you, but you can't be in here. It's called boundaries. And tomorrow night there's going to be a family support online platform that you can join, so you can have a chat with an expert that's been trained to deliver this, who's also a lived experience person. No, that's not tomorrow night. When is that? Keep an eye out on our page. I think it's once a week. On our event page, you'll be able to see when that's on, and you can log in and get some advice and talk within a community of people who are going through it or have been through it. A family member going through ice addiction, and you'll be able to get some tools to be able to help your loved one. Yeah, it's really important that you don't do this alone, because you do need to get as much information as you can and as much tools as you can to be able to help your loved one. So here's from, you know, somebody that's been there, and I remember when Courtney came on the show, she went, "Don't give us money," you know, and it was like really out there, and it's like, it's at the time we'll do whatever it takes to get the money, but if the parents could see, you know, that they're actually loving their kids to death, and I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You know, you've got to go. Don't love what you're doing. I can't support you in doing that. You're killing yourself. You're watching your child kill themselves. Yeah. So, but because you love your kids so much, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to see them homeless. You don't want to see them on the street. You know. Yeah. So it's a really hard line, and I know every family's different. So, you know, we urge you to get some counselling. We have counsellors on board if you need some one-on-one counselling to be able to walk with you on that journey. But please don't do it alone.
But even one thing I'd say to parents, you know, that, you know, some children will live in broken homes, so they can go to their mums or they can go to their dads, and I think, you know, when some parents don't communicate, one parent won't be enabling and the other one will be enabling. So I think that's a big thing to jump on board together and, you know, both say no and all get on board. So
absolutely. And what we've done here before in the past is, you know, we've had family come in and, you know, we've spoken with the family so we can all get on the same page and go down a path where it helps the loved one step into that recovery space. Yeah. So what started to progress in your life? I know you got involved in crime and dealing, and how was your emotional state and your mental state at that time? When did you realise that you had a problem?
I honestly didn't think I had a problem. I was so in denial about it. And I would be what people would call a closet cracky. So, there was no emotion or anything like that around it because I didn't know that I was so highly addicted to the drug.
We hear that so much. You know, when we speak to people that are in addiction and we do a brief intervention, as we call it, they go, you know, I don't really have a problem. I can stop whenever I want. Your life's falling apart around you. You're losing your kids, your home. You haven't got any money. And until we actually show it to them in their face, they go, oh yeah, maybe I do have a problem, because they're not able to process that logic, rational decision. You can't see all the pieces together because your brain doesn't allow you to. So you didn't think you had much of a problem. And how long were you using for before you did come to the assumption that something was wrong?
It was only 6 years, I think.
Wow.
On drugs,
Wow, that's amazing. And so did you go like straight on to ice? Full ball, straight on? Yep. And that's what we're talking about. Not even once is our message, guys. Ice is like no other drug. No drugs they all have negative consequences, okay? But ice specifically hijacks this person's brain, messes up, you know, the organs because of the chemicals in it, and you can have lifelong consequences associated with it. So 6 years down the track, and how was your relationship with your family?
Oh, completely broken.
What did it look like? What did broken look like?
My brother, I didn't talk to my brother, didn't have any sort of relationship with him, and we were really close growing up. My mum was barely hanging on. She was an emotional wreck every day. She could hardly go to work, wondering if I was dead or alive or where I was and what I was doing. My nan, who was a huge support in my life, the same thing. No real full loss of contact there as well. And no real friends left. It was all criminals and acquaintances and So.
Do you have contact with your friends from before today?
I speak to one of them, yes.
And do they, what do they say about that whole experience they watched?
I think it was just heartbreaking for them to, you know, watch my journey coming from such a good place and them knowing where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then seeing me at the bottom. Yeah.
Without not knowing what to do to help you.
Yeah.
And that's the most devastating place to be, guys, when you don't know how to help your loved one, the people you care for, and you're watching them self-destruct. That's why we offer peer family support. Yeah, that's not just for families, but it's for friends as well, because you need to get the tools to be able to help the people that you care about. Because you know, this is a worldwide problem, ice, you know, methamphetamine and P, whatever it's called in other countries. And we have a series of names that we show the kids in the schools of some of the names, because it keeps changing. They keep changing the names, you know, for many reasons, so they don't get caught out, so that people don't know what they're talking about, you know, and you know, they don't go, oh, here, have a bit of ice, or meth, have a bit of Tina or Strawberry Quick, or, you know, it doesn't sound so bad when you're at a party and you don't know, they don't know what they're taking, yeah? But it's important that they understand and see it and know what to look out for when they're confronted with it. Because it does, as you can hear from him, it devastates the whole family. It's not just the person, but your life starts spiralling out of control.
But I think it, not only at family, it's like you're devastating the community, like especially if you're doing criminal activity to feed your habit.
Yeah.
So you're also a strain on the community as well, I guess, in that sense. Yeah.
So did you find yourself, obviously you got involved in criminal activity and dealing, and I bet you never thought you'd end up there.
No, never.
And can you paint a bit of a picture on what that world was like? Because I don't think people quite understand when we say, you know, it's black and white, like, you know, it takes you to another realm, another world. Is there any way, like, you can paint a bit of a picture? What did a day look like for you?
Oh, it was crazy. The door didn't stop opening and closing, the front door, and there was constantly people in and out, and you're constantly paranoid, constant paranoia, either waiting for the police or waiting for someone to rob you, or just it didn't stop. It was like fast pace all the time for, you know, 6-7 days straight, until you finally crashed out. Yeah, so it wasn't a very good place to be in.
No, definitely not, and highly strung for 6 years. That's would have had a toll on your body and your emotional state. I can only just imagine where you've been, and you're such a beautiful, placid, gentle-natured person naturally. We're just really, it's hard to see, you know, the anger and, you know, the crime and the violence and all of that. Hearing it from you, it's not who we see before us today. And it's quite such a contrast of what the person's really like. And that's what the chemical in the brains allow the person using to go to that place. And it's usually polar opposite to what they are, which is, you know, for the family, it takes some time for them to see that there's something not right, but they don't know what it is or how to deal with it. So did your mum come out and ask you, or did you just...
I think I just slowly, I can't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure I just slowly started bringing it into a house and started using under her roof, and I think that's just how it came out.
You don't care anymore, do you? Because you
got no care in the world.
it.
No care in the world.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you were using and dealing and stuff, and then what happened that took you from that place to saying, I need help, I've got to stop this life? Like, did something happen, or did you go, somebody drag you to rehab, or did they threaten to lock you up, or what actually was your trigger point for change? Because 6 years, you know, going down that journey, not being able to process. And guys, please understand that in the cycle of addiction, there is an area where it's called contemplation stage. When it's painful enough for the user, for the addict, they'll go through a contemplation stage where they might go, I can't do this anymore, this has been too painful, I've got to change. Now that is the time for families and friends to actually fish. We fish your loved one out. But to do that, the time frame is very small, and you know the cycle of addiction goes back around, and then they come back into that. You need to be prepared and armed with tools, detox, counsellors, rehab, everything lined up and ready to go. So when they reach that contemplation stage, you can actually fish them out. Some people, have that contemplation stage a little bit, and they're able to jump out of it. Most can't. Yeah, so only a very small percentage of people who are entrapped in ice addiction, very small, like I'm talking like 2% of people actually manage to get out of that space. So how did you transition? Like, what happened?
So for me, obviously, I actually started with a trauma and ended with a trauma.
Yeah.
So I was already, like, on the verge of going to jail.
Wow.
And then my partner was living down the Gold Coast, and he was home invaded with his cousin. Obviously, drug dealers looking for drugs. So 4 masked men kicked down the door and stabbed my partner multiple times.
Oh, wow.
And stabbed his cousin a few times as well. His cousin was clinically dead, and he was brought back to life and stabilised and put on an ambulance. At that time, obviously, when the boys were taken away, the police came through the house, obviously known that it was to do with drugs or crime, so they found a lot of illegal stuff in the house. And when my partner was released from hospital, they charged him with all the charges, and he ended up in jail. And that was, I think, a big turning point for me, knowing and watching everybody in my life either, dying, ending up in jail. You don't get out of ice world scotch-free.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that. Something will always happen whether you sell it or use it.
Yeah.
And when my partner was in jail, we had our first phone call, and I just said to him, like, we're in this together, and we get clean together and we start fresh, or we're just going to go on our own journey.
Yeah.
And he decided to get clean as well while he was in there, and so he spent a year in there, and I spent a year out here working on myself and who I was, and we reunited after a year when he got out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it took to see a devastation like that to shock you enough to go into contemplation stage.
Yeah.
It often is that case where, it's the pain or the shock of, that takes somebody to that space.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and the longer families keep enabling. Yeah, providing shelter, food, money, looking after their kids so that they, when they're gone for 4 or 5, for 10 days or whatever it is at a time, you are actually participating in that addiction with them. Because as horrible as that sounds, you've got to let them get to the end. You've got to let them get to a place where it hurts enough, where they've seen enough, where they don't want that anymore. Yeah, and so that they make the change, because the change has to come from them. You have to make that decision. You can't force somebody, to step into recovery. You just can't do it. But unfortunately, they need to feel the pain to be able to make that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your partner went into jail and did detox in there and cleaned himself up and worked on himself in there. Did you see any counselling after that? I know you've done a lot of training on yourself, which is amazing. You're like a model example of, recovery in, all the stuff that you've done. I wish, a lot of our people that come on board with us embark and follow suit.
Yeah. Well, rehab's not for everyone.
Yep.
And it certainly wasn't for me. But obviously, I did counselling, and also working with my mum especially, to build that trust back and to build our bond back. But weirdly enough, I did hypno for relapse purposes.
Yeah.
So I went and seen a hypno.
That's hypnotherapy?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I went and seen a hypnotherapist down here on the Gold Coast, and I did, I think, about 8 sessions with her. And my mum was quite cheeky. She dropped me off there, and this was about my 6th session, I think it was. And I was leaving, and I went to get in Mum's car, and she goes, "Oh, so here's a loaded pipe. Do you want a twirl?" And literally, my stomach just turned. I jumped out of the car and was just vomiting everywhere.
Really?
I 100% believe that hypnotherapy does make a difference. You know, it's
Wow.
not for everyone, but yeah, it really worked for me. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You're the first person I've spoken to that has taken that approach, and I have never heard of it for that.
Yeah.
But that's incredible that it had that impact.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just because I guess the cravings for me were so strong, and you fight with your head every day, and because I was still in the same house, the same area, you know, I still had people come knocking on my door to get on or whatever.
Wow.
It was that constant battle of not wanting to use, and so I thought, well, my only option is getting back on it or trying something totally crazy. So yeah,
fantastic.
hypnotherapy worked. Yeah.
Wow. And there you go, guys. That's not something that we have known about, so I'd really love some more information about that,
Yeah.
so that, you know, we can offer it. If it works for one, it could work for others. You know, and I don't know about you, but when I looked into rehab, myself, I didn't do rehab, traditional rehab, live-in rehab.
Yeah.
But today, if I had to go back, I would have chosen that option.
Yeah, same.
And the only
Yeah.
reason is because at the time I was so petrified of being locked up in a rehab and them taking my phone and me not being able to, it felt like a prison, and I was a bit like, I'm not doing that, and being controlled. But I now looking at what happens in rehab and
Yeah.
what you learn, it's like you have everything around you. You have the experts around you with all the tools that you can, that'll help you every day, instead of trying to live in the world as well as work through the stuff on your own.
Yeah.
I found that really difficult, because you're trying to utilize the tools that you're learning from your counsellor, but you got all the stuff in the world to face, like rent and, like, you know, all the stuff that you've been done in the past that you've got to face. And, you know, I had to survive, and, you know, try and find work, and also deal with all the debt that I've accumulated and face all these things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it would have been so much easier to just run away and go into rehab for a while and deal with them with people on my side, you know,
Yeah.
helping me. So that is the harder way that you've gone about things, but it's worked for you.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And what's your relationship with your family now?
Oh, it's really good. So, yeah, I finally got my brother back,
Oh, awesome.
which is really good. And we're beginning to be as close as we were when we were younger. And I
Awesome.
also think that has a lot to do with me now having my own children.
Yep.
So, yeah, and my nan and my mum, we're back to the old tight-knit, happy family we used to be. It wasn't easy at all getting to that point. And, you know, my mum and my nan only just trust my word now and what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um,
And how long has it been for you to rebuild that? Like, when did you start your recovery?
so it will be 5 years in September I'll be clean.
Wow. Well
And,
done.
yeah, so it's only been about a year now that I've been fully connected back with my family.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what? You're really blessed, because that doesn't happen for everybody.
yeah, no.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people who work with really struggle to reconnect and get that trust back again. And, you know, it changes people and people's lives. And, you know, you hear some really sad stories out there of, you know, families hurting each other. through this journey, and you know, physically as well as emotionally scarring, that some stuff can't be taken back. So you're
Yeah.
really, really blessed to be able to have that
Yeah.
opportunity. You've worked hard at it. You've worked hard to regain that trust, and hard in your recovery to have to prove yourself, you know. And you know, I just honour that. I just think that you're an amazing example of recovery, and you know, now you're on board with us and
Yeah.
helping other people create pathways into recovery, and that's such a blessing to the community.
Yeah.
Not just here on the Gold Coast, but in other states as well, and where you've been. So that's incredible. Is there any last minute things that you'd like to share with the people out there? Because we have like family members watching. We might have people that are in, you know, contemplating change. You know, they're coming out of addiction and maybe thinking about, you know, giving recovery a go. Is there anything that you want to share to people at home?
I think, you know, on a recovery, go for it. Like, you've already lost your life, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, trying at that recovery, and even if you have to keep trying, just keep getting up and doing it. And, yeah, like, that's really it.
You're worth it, guys. You know, if you are in addiction and contemplating change, we want to hear from you. We're here to help you, yeah? Like Mimi and myself, there are a group of us in different states around Australia that have been through it. We've been trained to help the next person, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you're thinking, I've had enough of this life, I don't want the end result to be prison, death, or mental health,
Yeah.
you know.
But life is also so much better than running around like a headless chook and chasing your tail. Like, literally, you get on, and then when you've got on, you're already chasing to get on again. Like, life is so much better now. Like, I'm stress-free and I'm loving life, and I'm doing things that I never done before as well. Like, and it's exciting. Like, and now that I have kids, and watching them grow, and life is good. And it wasn't easy, obviously, getting here.
Yeah.
And I still face problems to this day with what addiction did to me.
Yep.
But, yeah, I love every moment of it, so.
That's awesome. That's really inspiring, Mimi, because, you know, people go, oh, it's too hard, I don't think I can do it. And we've had people say, I never thought I could get off it. Yeah. But once you cross a certain, you know, line, you don't want to turn back. And, you know, even, I mean, I relapsed after 6 months, and I got back up and I went, no, I want that. I want my life back, you know, and I want recovery, and it's worth everything.
I think the one thing that I want to say to anyone out there that does relapse is don't kick yourself for relapsing, because I found, you know, the minute you kick yourself, you go, oh, well, stuff it. I've already relapsed, so I'm going to keep going. And then you just get back on that track. You know what? Don't kick yourself. You're doing well. Just keep going. Just try again until you get it. Because you know what? You don't just get in recovery and stay clean. It doesn't happen like that for everyone.
Yeah.
And you are going to relapse, but just tell yourself that you're worth it, and get back up.
You know what I used to do, and that's why our program, our workshops are so good for somebody in recovery. I used to think back on what this drug actually, where it took me to.
Yeah.
You know, all the hurtful things and the pain that I went through because of this drug. So every time it was offered to me, and it was, you know, many times again and again, and I had many opportunities to relapse again and again, but every time I looked at it, I remembered where it actually took me, the devastation, the pain, the hurt, and I grew a hate for it. And by watching our workshop presentations, where we talk about the effects of this drug mentally, physically, emotionally, and we can share our own experiences through that. As I kept watching it, you know, it was a real healing for me, and then be able to go into the schools and share it. It was painful, but it was a real healing for me, because and it was almost like a shield of a protectant, because I was looking at where it took me every day so much that even if it was under my nose, and it was, I was like, no, get it away from me. I hate you so much.
Yeah.
Like you've devastated my life. And so it was easier for me not to relapse. That's what I found.
Yeah.
It helped a lot, really looking at where it actually took you instead of the first 5 minutes of pleasure that it gave you.
Yeah.
You know, just stay focused, guys.
And I think also, just touching on what you just said, people think that when they're getting clean, they've got to just uproot everything and run away. I stayed in the same area,
Wow.
the same house.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna let that be taken from me. Like, that was, as you call, my territory, my home. And I still see people that I used to use with. Unfortunately, none of them made it through. And I think that keeps me going too, because as sad as it is, I look where they are, and I know that would have been me. So
you get to see the negative of what that drug is doing to people every day, and that's I guess again what I focused on was where it took me, the end result, and that's the end result that you're watching. And that's really important, because the strength to actually stand up against it, that's what has made you strong, you know what I mean? You can't run from the problem, you actually have to work through it.
Yeah, but even if you do decide to go to a rehab that's, states away, at the end of the day, it is in every state. You're not going to get away from it, and you know what? You attract those same people that you attract in your town anyway. So just stay where you are and keep fighting.
That's right. Yeah. And get up and go, who's stronger, you or me?
Yeah.
I am. No, I'm not going to do it. So I know it's easier said than done, guys, but that's why we offer our buddy services. We, people like us and our team who've been there, we offer to buddy you in the early stages of recovery, where we can encourage you, and we can go together to meetings, and just have somebody to go, this is my situation, and just have a chat or a text. Sometimes makes a big difference. So we're here to help. If you are that person we're talking to, and you're like, yep, I want to reach out, you can give us a call, 0756656063. That'll connect you to the care team, and they will connect you to your state or your area community ICE action team. But we'll definitely be able to hook you up with a buddy. And if the other number you can call is 1-800-NO-TO-ICE, NOTOICE, 1-800-NO-TO-ICE. Or you can send us a private message on Facebook. We're happy to connect with you on your number. But we're here to help, so even if you wanted to chat online, that's fine too. Our care team is there. A lot of the care team are people in recovery that have been trained to be able to help you and have the tools, So, thank you for sharing your story. I know we didn't go too in depth into. I know there's so much more that we can chat about. Psychosis and the health implications, which I know you would have gone through, because it's part of Ice World. And I guess, we welcome you to make comment. We're online, and we'd love to answer. Mimi will be tagged online, and she'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Or if you want to reach out and, have a chat with her, please do so. Thank you for joining us on the show. If there's any last minute things that you want to share out there before we go?
Not even once.
Not even once. That's our message, Mimi. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Me.
We love having you part of the team.
Thank you.
And together we can put the freeze on ice in our nation.
Thank you.
Thanks, sweetheart. See you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week, 7 o'clock, Queensland time. Take care, stay clean, and stay safe. God bless.